What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So it's time for a new episode in the Uncharted The Lost Legacy countdown. I think right now there are like 23 days left, which is a little bit over 3 weeks, so we're getting closer and closer. And today, what I wanted to talk about in this episode is actually the story of the game. Now, what I find so interesting about the story of the game, right, is that we practically like don't know too much about it. You know, like a year ago when I did the Uncharted 4 countdown series, first of all, they had shown a lot of that game. They had already told us quite a bit, so that there was plenty for us to be informed on and to think about, while at the same time they raised many questions that we all kept speculating about. For example, just the fact that they introduced Sam, Nathan Drake's brother, of course made us all ask so many questions, like who is he, why did we not see him in the previous games, and so forth, right? So there was lots to talk about there as far as the story goes. Now, I think what's so interesting about The Lost Legacy, like I said, is that they really haven't shown too much yet, while at the same time what we do know is a pretty simple Uncharted-like setup. Of course, the game, you know, you're going to be playing as Chloe Fraser, which is a first. She partners up with Nadine. She's looking for the certain treasure, the Tusk of Ganesh, presumably for money reasons or something like that, right? We know her father is kind of involved, but I'll get to that in a bit. And the villain is chasing them that's going for the same treasure. It's a pretty simple Uncharted-like setup, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. But anyway, let's actually get into it, and let's simply, dive into, I guess, what we know of Uncharted The Lost Legacy's story so far. So the very first thing is, of course, that the game takes place about 6 to 12 months after Uncharted 4. Now, when I say this, spoiler alert for people who haven't played Uncharted 4, that obviously does not mean the epilogue of Uncharted 4, it means the main ending of Uncharted 4, where we saw how Nadine ended up in one of those, you know, in pretty much the final real chapter of Uncharted 4. Of course, she abandoned Drake and Sam and Rafe, pretty much told them they were crazy, and she wasn't really feeling like it anymore, pretty much, right? So, yeah, like I said, she abandons them, leaves in the rubber boat, leaves the island and stuff, manages to make it out alive, of course, and we don't exactly know if she maybe still took that money that they had left or not, but I'm quite unsure about that, because I would think that the whole reason why Nadine is after the treasure in The Lost Legacy is for money reasons. She's pretty much completely, you know, the entire army of her has been killed off or whatever, so it looks like she's just, you know, right now a kind of, you know, solo player, I guess, right, the solo adventurer, and therefore she actually hires Chloe to go after this Tusk of Ganesh in India. Now, that's the really interesting thing. She hires Chloe. It's not the other way around. And of course, we know, you know, how Chloe ended up after the adventures in Uncharted 2 and 3. Yeah, she pretty much also left Drake and Sully behind in Uncharted 3 there in the Syria part after things got quite out of hand. She wasn't really feeling like it either anymore with that one. But we also know that there were a couple of reasons why probably Chloe was not in the game longer. And the reason why mainly seems to be that, you know, Cutter was actually intended to be in Uncharted 3 the entire way through, but the actor who actually plays Cutter, you know, had a really busy work schedule, had to be shooting some scenes for the Hobbit and stuff. He played a big role in that trilogy, and therefore they couldn't use him anymore in the remainder of Uncharted 3, so they had to kind of work their way around that. And I guess they also didn't see Chloe really to have or to fit anymore in the story then, if they had to get rid of Cutter as well. So that's, you know, that's a little bit a little sketchy, I guess. But anyway, like I said, Nadine hires Chloe to go after this Tusk of Ganesh in India, right? And we already know that the entire game is going to be taking place in India, and I think that's so awesome. I've already talked to you about it a couple of times, but what I love about this game is that it's going to be more focused. First of all, the setting in India is absolutely awesome. I love it because it reminds me a little bit of, you know, going back to Uncharted 2 and stuff. It's the same type of Hinduism, Buddhism type of stuff, right? With all these statues and everything like that, so that's really cool, but at the same time I love that that means that the entire adventure will be much more focused in the way that you're not going to be traveling from area to area with these abrupt cuts where you don't really know what happened in between. At least that's what I'm going to assume. It really feels like it's your own adventure, and that's yeah, what I think is going to be awesome to see. Now, like I said, we know that Asav is going to be the villain in the game. We've already seen a bit about him in, you know, mainly the E3 trailer, I think, right? A very calm, kind of like silent type of villain, but I'm not really going to be talking too much about him yet, because I'm probably going to do a complete episode on the Asav, so that will be cool to see. And then the last thing we really know about the story is that Chloe's father is somehow involved. Chloe herself, where at first we didn't really know where she came from, everybody just presumed it would be Australia because she has that accent. They now pretty much confirmed, but I think they kind of changed that with The Lost Legacy, that she's half Australian, half Indian. So she does have some roots in, you know, with India, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool to see, and therefore her father is somewhat involved. I think what they said is that her father has pretty much been going after this Tusk of Ganesh already, and we don't know if he's dead or not right now, but it seems that Chloe maybe is going after the treasure for a bit more personal reasons rather than just money, which I think is what Nadine is really going to be involved for. So that's, I guess, right now all we know of the story in Uncharted The Lost Legacy. I still have, you know, a lot of question marks about it, mainly in the way that, you know, what do Chloe and Nadine know about each other? Do they know that they both have had interactions with, for example, Drake and Sully and the whole crew in the past, right? Does Chloe know that Nadine had this whole falling out and pretty much abandoned Drake at the end of Uncharted 4? Does Nadine know that Chloe is actually a friend of the entire crew? So that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get this question, of course, answered, because they already hinted that there's gonna be some, you know, they're gonna be bringing up these characters in conversations. So we'll definitely find out what they know about each other there. And there's also gonna be some type of conflict. We know that for sure, and I think that's what's going to be really awesome about it. How will this relationship kind of end up in the end, right? We've seen some scenes now that they showed in the E3 trailer where they're literally fighting each other in a helicopter and stuff, and it seems like when you go to that point, this situation you can't escape, it seems to be kind of like the point of no return. So I wonder what that's going to end up like, and how their ultimate, you know, yeah, if their relationship will either be able to mend again or to completely break pretty much and fall apart in the end. I would not be surprised that Nadine just turns out to be the ultimate villain of the game, and they're going to be fighting each other in the end, but we'll see about that. And then the last thing I guess you could ask yourself is, will there be a supernatural element? We know that all the previous Uncharted games have pretty much had them, except for Uncharted 4. Naughty Dog decided to go into this direction where the game is more grounded and more personal, and therefore also more realistic, right? So I think they just wanted to get rid of that supernatural element that they've used in the previous games. So therefore that makes me think that The Lost Legacy, you know, won't have it either, but at the same time, this setting does really lend itself for it, so who knows what exactly they're gonna do there. Like I said, that's pretty much all we know of the story in Uncharted The Lost Legacy so far. I guess there was still more to talk about than I originally expected, so yeah, anyway, let me of course know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think will happen? What do you think the story is ultimately going to be? And for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. So like I said, 23 days left until the game is coming out. It's gonna be absolutely awesome, so leave a quick like to help support my channel, and of course, make sure to support me on Patreon to get access to these episodes a week early. So that means that right now you can actually already get access to a part where I'm going to be talking about possible character appearances in The Lost Legacy that haven't been confirmed yet. So if we may actually end up seeing Charlie Cutter in The Lost Legacy, or Nathan Drake, or Sully, or Sam, you know, make an appearance in the game, right? So anyway, go and support me on Patreon like all the people are doing right next to me in the credits here. They help support me pretty much. They make these videos possible, and like I said, you get a full week early access to every single The Lost Legacy Countdown pod by doing so, so I'd really appreciate it. And for now, thanks a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.